Everyone have always wanted for all of the buildings in GTA games to have interiors, even Rockstar games themselves. And I'm talking about proper enterable interiors, like Michael's house, instead of the interiors we have in GTA San Andreas or GTA Online. Every single suburban house to a hotel room, enterable. Under 5% of the buildings in GTA 4 and GTA 5 had interiors. But GTA 6 will be different. That's what the proof suggests, or at least what we hope for. I'm Saukko, and I'm part of the GTA 6 mapping community. People there have looked more into interiors than I have. I'm here just condensing finds of mostly other people. And special thanks to Long Time, who has almost become a professional about GTA 6 interiors already. There are several reasons for why the previous entries in the series had so few interiors, such as lack of memory, lack of storage, lack of rendering power, and lack of manpower. But all of these have now been solved, with the help of increased RAM, SSDs, better CPUs and GPUs, Rockstar having over 5,000 employees, and procedural generation. We must keep in mind that GTA 5 was made on the Xbox 360 and PS3, and we have progressed 2 console generations since. The current consoles have 20 to 60 times more RAM, which is also several times faster. Storage isn't an issue anymore as it's measured in terabytes. And we have progressed from HDDs to SSDs, which allow for exponentially faster loading. Rockstar has over 5 times more employees than they had when GTA 5 launched. They are using this manpower to advance the map and to create assets and textures, and of course, more interiors. Rockstar is also using procedural generation to create assets for the game. In a recent interview on CNBC, the CEO of the parent company of Rockstar Games, Strauss Zelnick, talked about the tools used by Rockstar when asked about AI.
I'm looking at the graphics right now. I mean, this is so different than when Grand Theft Auto 1 came out. How much of this is AI, and what can we do just in terms of where AI stands in the industry right now?
Well, we've been using digital tools since the very beginning. So I would say the interactive entertainment business is an innovator within what people call AI now, and I don't doubt that we'll continue to innovate. I think it's worth noting, though, that the genius is human, and the tools may be digital, but the creative genius is human.
The use of digital tools in context with AI is what you should be taking away from this interview. And he's basically stating that they are not using generative AI for anything. Rockstar has patented a piece of technology they use in one of these digital tools. The patent is called System and Method for Game Object and Environment Generation. The patent application was filed in 2018, so this means that the tool is for GTA 6 and not only RDR2. The patent is about using assets and a set of given rules to create in-game objects by giving every asset tags in their metadata. These assets can be clothes, textures or props, and the tags can be anything. Urban, rural, dirty, clean, colors, anything. When creating an NPC or an interior, a dev will list appropriate tags for the character he wants to create. Then a pool of assets will be created, and then from the appropriate pool of assets, some will be chosen randomly. For example, when generating an interior, appropriate sofas, carpets, tables, kitchens will be chosen, and once the interior is generated, a dev will check that everything makes sense. This will reduce the workload significantly. And this technology is best used when creating repetitive interiors, like suburban homes, hotel rooms or apartments. On the other hand, it's not good for places like stores or restaurants. With this, Rockstar will be able to fill apartment blocks and hotels. This tech was used in RDR2 to give NPCs clothes, and it worked very well. The simplest way I've come up with to explain it is randomness with rules. Rockstar is the king of optimization. Of course, they wouldn't have all interiors loaded in all the time, and they would only appear when you get close to them. So when you are far away, they might display a 2D image of the interior or a parallax image of the interior, of which we have seen an example in the Matrix tech demo. And in the leaks we can see that some doors into interiors are called out, so they're basically white and don't have the door or the interior loaded. This will probably be fixed for the final game, but we can use it to identify interiors in the leaks. For example, in Homestead, about half of the buildings we could see properly had interiors, and the leak is from 3 years before the game's release. In the Hank's Waffles robbery leak, we can properly see 4 large buildings, of which all are enterable. Hank's Waffles itself, Schlött Construction Company, the motel, and the car wash are all enterable. And of the top-down AI word editor leak, all of the buildings marked red are for sure interiors. I'm not gonna go through all of the leaks in Vice City because there's just too many of them. And most of them are either too far from buildings, so the interiors are not loaded, or too close to them, so we can see only 1 or 2 interiors per clip. The first interior we see in the trailer is in the prison. This interior may only be used in cutscenes or may only be accessible in missions. There are a few things worth noting in the Rockstar Games Presents clip. These rooms here appear to be interiors, because they have actual depth and they have props in them. And for some reason, these windows have different colors than the other windows of this building, so we can kinda assume those are somehow interior related too. Most of the hotel rooms look like they are not interiors, but they might just appear 2D until you get more close. And only this floor might be loaded, because it's more easily accessible than the other floors. So it doesn't make sense for Rockstar to load the upper floors, because you cannot access them fast enough. So they will only load in after you enter the building. Then the big one, the scene with Prickle on the river. We can clearly see into these apartments. They have lights in them, they have things being lit up in them, they have props in them like plants, and the curtains are all different. And the balconies have items like towels, a rubber flamingo, and even an American flag. These kind of buildings are what the patent I presented is for. You can easily, procedurally, generate all of these interiors, and it wouldn't take more than a day to check them all. But of course, there is the chance that these interiors are just parallax and not real. Then the clip at Vinewood Walls, we can see a car entering a garage. Then we have the nightclub, which is obviously an interior, and it was in the leaks. In this Venetian Islands clip, we can see an interior here. In the Ocean Drive clip, we can see interiors here on the left. Then there's the nightclub. In this clip, we can see into the house. And of course, gas stations will be enterable. Here, police break into an apartment. Then there's the clip with the old man. In it, we can clearly see through the building to the backyard. So it for sure is an interior and not parallax. We can see the same thing happening in the photo from GTA San Andreas Definitive Edition. We can see all the way through the building from the front door. Houses like this can also be furnished using the patent I presented. So we will probably have entire suburbs enterable. Then a grocery store, which we saw in GTA 5. In this clip we can see the door of the pawn shop open. And here we can see an interior of a motel. This motel was in the leaks, and all of its rooms seem to be enterable. And in the last clip we have another store. Rockstar presenting so many interiors in the trailer gives me more trust in the fact that there will be many interiors in the game. And as a final note, the TikTok leaker said that 70% of interiors will be enterable. However, this might be a bit of an overestimation. That might have been the goal of Rockstar at some point, but they might not be able to reach it. I personally believe that about half of buildings will have some kind of enterable interiors, like hotels would have lobbies, but maybe not all of the rooms. But of course, everything is still possible. We may not get any interiors, or the game could be completely cancelled. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, like the video, and if you want to talk about interiors more, leave a comment. Thank you, and let's pray for some news from Rockstar.